You lie to yourself more than you lie to anyone else. You told yourself 3 lies before breakfast this morning, maybe 4. You don't even know which ones they were because the really effective self-deception doesn't register as lying. It feels like common sense, like maturity, like being realistic. I'm fine with how things are. I'll deal with it next month. It doesn't bother me anymore. That last one's the masterpiece. You rehearsed it so many times the words come out smooth, automatic, like a jingle you can't unlearn. And you almost believe it. Almost. Everybody worries about being lied to by other people. Politicians, partners, salesmen, the friend who says, "I'm 5 minutes away," while still in pajamas. But the most prolific liar in your entire life has your face, your voice, and unlimited access to your schedule. You can't block that number. You can't unfollow that account. And the worst part is, their lies always sound exactly like something a reasonable person would say. The mirror isn't showing you what you think it's showing you. Every morning, same ritual. You look at your reflection and run the internal checklist. Job? Stable enough. Relationship? Could be worse. Health? Not dead yet. Goals? Working on it. And you walk away from the mirror with a passing grade you didn't earn because none of those answers were honest. They were just comfortable enough to prevent a follow-up question. Sartre had a term for this that sounds academic but operates at street level: bad faith. The act of lying to yourself while knowing, on some buried floor of your consciousness, that you're lying. You know "I'll start Monday" has been running on a loop since March. You understand somewhere behind the performance that "I'm fine" is a load-bearing wall made of paper, and you keep painting over it anyway because the alternative is a renovation you're terrified to start. Bad faith isn't ignorance. Ignorance would be easier. Bad faith is when you actively participate in your own deception, when you choose the comfortable answer over the true one over and over until the choosing becomes invisible and the lie starts wearing your clothes. You've done it with habits you keep meaning to change while doing absolutely nothing differently. You've done it with that version of yourself you keep promising is coming, the disciplined one, the honest one, the one who finally has it together, while the current version keeps extending the deadline like a contractor who's never going to finish the kitchen. How long have you been almost ready to change something? Months? Years? At what point does almost become its own permanent address? Your phone is a conscience-killing machine and you know it. The most sophisticated lie you tell yourself isn't verbal, it's behavioral. The scroll that starts in your thumb before your brain even finishes formulating the question you're running from. You had a moment yesterday, maybe while washing dishes, maybe in the shower, maybe in that dead pocket of silence between turning off the car engine and opening the door, where something real tried to surface. A thought, an honest one, something about a choice you've been avoiding, a conversation you've been postponing, a truth about your situation that would require actual action if you let it finish forming. And what did you do? You grabbed the phone, or turned on a podcast, or texted someone back. Anything, literally anything, to fill the silence before it said something you weren't ready to hear. Distraction isn't rest. It's anesthesia with a touchscreen. You're not unwinding when you scroll for 90 minutes before bed. You're performing surgery on your own awareness, removing the parts that hurt before they have a chance to tell you what's wrong. And the operation is so seamless, so habitual, that you've convinced yourself it's relaxation. Meanwhile, the thing you're avoiding doesn't dissolve. It composts. It sits in some basement of your head, fermenting, gaining weight, growing roots into decisions you think are unrelated. That career paralysis you can't explain? Connected. That weird emotional flatness when something good happens? Connected. That vague, low-grade anxiety humming underneath even your best days, the one you can't pin to anything specific because it's not specific, it's structural. All connected. All running on the same unprocessed fuel you keep burying under notifications and playlists and one more episode. You know this. That's the brutal part. You already know this. You just keep choosing the anesthesia because the surgery sounds worse than the disease, even though the disease is the one actually running your life. the cost of staying wooden. There's a version of you that moves through the world hitting every mark, says the right things, shows up on time, smiles at the appropriate moments, answers, "How are you?" with a speed and fluency that would impress a courtroom stenographer. Functional, presentable, smooth, and completely hollow. You know the feeling. Walking through a full day, doing everything right, interacting with a dozen people, and getting home to realize you weren't actually present for any of it. You performed the day, you executed the script, but the person doing all of it was running on autopilot, while the real one sat somewhere behind the eyes, checked out, watching the performance from a distance like a bored audience member at a play they've seen too many times. Kierkegaard called the deepest form of despair not being yourself. And the twist that makes it nasty is that most people in this state don't feel desperate at all. They feel fine, comfortable even. The despair is silent precisely because the person has gotten so good at being someone else that the absence of authenticity doesn't register as a loss anymore. You can't miss something you forgot you had. That's what the comfortable lies purchase. They buy you a life that works on paper, that looks correct from the outside, that generates zero friction, because friction requires honesty, and honesty left the building sometime around the 800th "I'm fine." You walk around going through the motions so convincingly that nobody, including you, questions whether there's anything underneath the performance. Wooden smile, wooden answers, wooden presence. Everything carved to look like the real thing from a distance. Get close enough and the grain shows. Becoming real hurts, and that's why you keep choosing the puppet show. Growth is the conversation you've been avoiding for 3 months. It's telling someone, "That's not working for me," and watching their face change. It's admitting you've been wrong about something you've defended publicly, loudly, repeatedly, and eating every word while the people who were right watch you chew. Nobody volunteers for that. Your brain is engineered to avoid exactly that kind of discomfort with the same urgency it avoids touching a hot stove. So it offers you alternatives: procrastination, rationalization, the beautiful, elegant lie that you'll deal with it when the time is right, which is code for never unless the universe physically forces my hand, and even then I'll negotiate. Every day you choose the comfortable version, the gap between who you are and who you're pretending to be gets a little wider. And the wider it gets, the more energy it takes to maintain. You're spending half your processing power just keeping the performance running, making sure the right face is on, the right story is loaded, the right version of you is being broadcast to the right audience. It's exhausting. You know it's exhausting. And you keep doing it because starting over, genuinely, honestly, without the script, sounds more terrifying than continuing the show forever.
Your realism is a costume. Every time you say, "That's just how I am," or "I've accepted my situation," you're not being mature. You're signing a peace treaty with a version of yourself you settled for because the upgrade requires pain you've been running from since you were old enough to run. You've mistaken resignation for wisdom so many times, the two are fused in your head, and now you genuinely can't tell the difference between "I'm at peace" and "I gave up so long ago that giving up feels like peace." You're not pragmatic, you're scared. Scared that if you actually rip away the scripts, the distractions, the comfortable lies, the "I'm fine" autopilot, what's underneath might not be enough, might be too messy, might be somebody you don't know how to be yet. So you keep pulling your own strings, performing the safe version, and calling it a life. Nobody's going to do this for you. Nobody's going to reach in and drag the real version out. The phone will keep buzzing. The distractions will keep offering themselves, and the mirror will keep accepting whatever answer you give it without pushing back. The comfortable lie has no expiration date. You can run it forever. Plenty of people do. But you already know what that costs. You've been paying it in that flat feeling behind your ribs, in the relationships that stay shallow because you never show up without the mask, in the goals that never move because next month is the only deadline that never arrives, in the quiet, persistent sense that you're watching your own life through a window instead of living inside it.
Stripping the performance is ugly. Saying, "I've been lying to myself" out loud, to a friend, to a partner, to nobody but the bathroom mirror at 7 a.m., is one of the most uncomfortable sentences a human mouth can produce. But the version of you on the other side of that sentence is the first one that's actually real. Not polished, not optimized, not carved to look right from a distance. Real, with all the splinters and rough edges and uncertainty that real carries. And real is the only version that gets to feel anything. The puppet doesn't get tired, doesn't get hurt, doesn't struggle, but it also doesn't get to laugh for real, or love without a script, or sit in a room with someone and be fully, stupidly, recklessly present without performing a single thing. You've been wood long enough. And the first step isn't a grand transformation. It's looking at the exact decision you've been dodging for months, picking up the scissors, and finally cutting the string. Yes, without the strings, there is no safety net. If you stumble, you don't get to blame the circumstances or play the victim anymore. But that's exactly where the magic happens. When nobody is pulling your strings, every step you take belongs to you. Every victory is yours. Every genuine connection you make is real. Walking on your own 2 feet means you are going to fall sometimes. You are going to scrape your knees. Let them scrape. Because a scraped knee is the absolute best proof that you finally have real skin. It means you are alive. Step off the stage. Make the move. See if the nose stops growing.
Father, I'm alive, see? And I'm real. I'm a real boy.
You're alive, and you are a real boy.
Hey! Yippee!